Hey, Rich, thanks for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
You bet. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and your product and hearing a little bit about your history in oil and gas. It sounds like you've had a unique experience in the industry. Kind of came into it. I think you told me in retail sales.
Yes, yes. Well, basically, I grew up in Florida on the farm, right? And my dad basically taught me how to do everything on a farm, starting when you're 4 or 5 years old, right? You're out there doing irrigation and doing everything that you got to do to survive. I have seven sisters and a brother,
Wow.
so there was nine of us. So
Okay.
my dad called it free labor. But it was actually pretty cool opportunities. At the time, you don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
My sister's like, "You're the laziest kid ever," but I mean, it's like I'm four.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're only
Where
gonna
we're
get so much
irrigating,
out of you.
right? So anyway, learning to do that, and went to school in Florida. Went to the Marine Corps. Wasn't very good at college. I tried that for a semester, and I there's no way I was going to be able to do that. Wasn't smart enough. I had dyslexia, or still
Oh,
do
okay.
probably. Um, but I wasn't able to do that, so I went to the Marine Corps and spent some time there, and then I was in the reserves. Came back to college, believe it or not. Went to South Plains, and graduated from there. Went to Texas Tech, graduated from there.
Did it seem like that was a better time for you? You were able to handle that workload after being in the Marines, or was it different? Because the first time you went to college, it didn't work out.
Yeah, it was more discipline to a to an extent. I mean, our personalities always get in the way, right? But to an extent, it was a lot easier for me to focus and get things done. And my dad, I wanted to become a DPS trooper.
Okay,
My dad's like, "You're gonna get shot." I'm like, "Okay, I could get shot doing anything, Dad."
it's
But
true.
I kind of wanted to do it for my dad, and he's like, "None of us have ever graduated from college, so I'd like for you to go to college." So I got my associates at South Plains, went to Tech, and it just 4 year degree. I think it took me 7 years, but I did
Hmm.
it. And then I got into retail, discount tire. I learned a lot from discount tire. Those guys at Discount Tire, they have a training program where they teach you about taking care of customers, and that's one of the best things that I think the best training I've ever had. College, they teach you basics. Discount Tire was the best training of how to treat people,
Hmm.
right? So I did that for a little bit, and then I went to work for AT&T, and T. And then my dream was to never work outside because I did that when I was a kid, right?
Okay.
And then I was in AT&T inside of a building cooped up, and I'm like, I cannot stand this dream.
Hmm.
I wanted to get out of there. So a buddy of mine calls me up, and he says, "Hey man, are you interested in a sales job?" And I was like, "Doing what?" He says, "Gas and oil industry." I'm like, "Nope, no way." Because I always heard, the bad side, of the gas and oil industry. I said, "No, I don't think that's a stable industry for me." And he's like, "No, just come try it." And he goes, "We're in the midstream. It's awesome. We clean coolers, heat exchangers. We do all this stuff." I said, "Okay." Went and on a little demo ride, uh, application type deal. And I'm like, "Sign me up. Let's go. This is awesome. This is beautiful. Being out here and talking to people. It's cool." So yeah, that changed my life right there. And then that was in 2005, I think, 2004, 2005. So I've been doing it about 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that really, like, I can see where all those stepping stones set you up to have a successful career
Yeah.
in the industry. But coming in, because it's interesting for sales. It's either someone that's been in sales prior can really excel in oil and gas sales, or it's someone from inside the industry that's had that field experience that knows the industry and then has a knack for sales. Because
Yeah.
it's a trade. Sales is definitely it's a skill, and I mean it's there's a lot more to it than just trying to sell a product or a service.
I agree with you 100%, Breezy. Here's the deal that I look at. When you're going into sales, you're a professional, right? You're going to go in there and you're trying to sell somebody something, and whatever company you work for, whatever you're trying to sell, you're trying to make money for that company. A lot of times when we get in there, we get a spill. "Hey, this is our product. This is what it does, and it's going to be a great for you. How many do you need?" That kind of attitude. And it's not really that. What I learned through, honestly, Discount Tire, like I said, some of the best training ever, is what do you need? How can I help you? What can I do for you? How can I make your day better? What is the relief? And my deal is and you can ask any of my customers, I I say help. I don't know how many times. Can I help you? How can I help you? What can I do to help you? And if they're in a bad mood or they don't really want me there and it was a cold call, they're like, well, get out of here. We don't need you in here right now. Okay. Well, if I can help you, please give me a call. That's it. I'm here to help. So one of my biggest thing is what I don't like is people that say I can sell snow to an Eskimo. Well, an Eskimo doesn't need snow. They need a heater. They need, food. They need stuff like that.
It's true.
That's the way I look at stuff. So you sell it to them that one time, they're going to feel jaded after that. They're going to go, wait a minute. I didn't need snow. Why did I buy it? Because the sales pitch. You hear these commercials like you're listening to the radio, XM radio or whatever it is, and they're, hey, how to improve your sales by doing this, by doing that, by doing this. I call that by manipulation. That's honestly what I call it, because you're trying to get somebody to buy something. You're trying to train them to buy it, and then they buy it. But does it really help them? That's my deal. I want to help you. Like you're helping me. You have been very personable, very honest, very, just saying, hey, Rich, this is what we do here. This is how we can help you. This is what, and that is what I'm looking for. That's what I want to deal with when I'm dealing with a customer or a salesperson. The other problem is when you're in a sales environment, you see a guy selling cars today, mopeds tomorrow, bleach the next day.
Oh, right.
If you're going to be a salesperson, my personal opinion, and this is what I offer, is be professional and be an expert in what you do. If you sell cleaning, go to other cleaning companies, as long as you don't have what do they call those? Non-compete. But go to other cleaning companies, stay in your profession, and learn more, right? Because if you're just kind of going on what they say and what they tell you to do, you're going to last for a little bit, but you're not going to last that long unless you grow it yourself. You have to grow it yourself. You can't rely on the company, right? You got to rely on your abilities to grow, to learn, to be a professional and talk to people and give them what they want.
Yeah.
That's an honest way I like to, and you can ask any of my customers, that's what I like to do. I crack jokes and I do have fun with them, and I do barbecues for them, and I do all kinds of stuff like that. But the bottom line is, how can I help you? That's what you want to do as a professional. It's not I give all kinds of stuff away, stickers and hats. And I walk in some places and they go, where's the sticker? Where are the caps? Right? But they don't even talk to me about the work. And they're like, oh, by the way, I need 3 days of cleaning on this. Okay, thank you. It's just you build a relationship, but they can trust you to be honest. And that's my biggest things. We're in the gas and oil industry. Unfortunately, we find a lot of scams here and scams there. And
There's some bad actors.
Good way of saying it. But yeah, and and you'll them when you meet them. They talk fast and they move slow. Right?
Well, it's like I think that there's different levels to sales in the oil and gas industry, as far as providing the right service and taking care of your people and continuing to build those relationships. And you can kind of see like people that are just in sales, like you said, they're going to sell anything. And because sales is a skill, so you can sell anything, but it doesn't make sense if you don't have any kind of tie to it, you don't have experience on your own, or you don't know that part of the industry. So you are leery of that. And then you've got people that may not know that much, and they're just trying to, sell it without having to have the knowledge.
Right.
And then what you're saying, it's like then there's people that are just like you can tell they're just kind of fly by night, or
right.
they're just trying to get ahead of their competitor, or They don't really have that personal investment.
Right. And that's the main thing. Just you said it perfect. Personal investment. You're gonna do. You can only do so much, right? If you're driving to a destination like I just drove here, my truck is only going to do so much for me. I got to get out and walk in here. It can't do everything for me, right? So the company can't do everything for you. Right. I know that's a weird little analogy, but you have to do your part. You have to learn. I've hired salesmen before, and I'm just like, okay, here's the deal. Learning heat exchangers, learn this, learn that, learn plate and frames, tube and shells, learn, all the different types of cryo units or different things like that we can clean. Remediation, cooler cleaning, whatever it is, learn it. Mm-hmm. Learn the ins and out of it. You don't have to know exactly everything about that plant, the way it works, just like the plant manager or the number one guy there. But you do need to know what you're dealing with, and that part of it. Okay, what is it? What are you cleaning? What's the problem or whatever it is? You have to know those certain things to make a decision on how to do it. Mm-hmm. With anything in life. So that's where I say take personal responsibility and grow your craft. And your craft is sales. Do that. Take care of people.
Yeah, I like that. And it is a craft. And when you look at like what you're selling, like what's more important? Is it knowing your customer base, building these relationships? Is it reps to get in the door? Like, how do you build the business? How do you cultivate the relationships? Is it cold calling, going to conferences? Like, what have you found to be the best practices as far as being able to expand?
Face to face. When I first got in the gas and oil industry, the company I worked for, they said, here's a list. These are our customers. Here's some address of these plants. This was right before Google Earth and everything really took off, right? And so here, take this, and this is your customers, and this is what we clean for them, and this is how much we make a year off of them. So go get it. Okay. So, and here's their email. Okay. So I started going, why am I having to reinvent the wheel here? They should know all this, in a better way. I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, wait a minute. My buddy just taught me Google Earth. I started pinning everything. So it's like I'm driving here. There's a gas plant right here that I didn't know about because I'm going to this one, right? So you take that Google Earth and you start scanning. That's what I did. I start scanning all the areas. Okay, that looks like a tank farm. Okay, that looks like a gas plant. Okay, that looks like a compressor station. Okay. And then my day was that 100-mile radius of just knocking on the gas plants. And then finding the plant manager, the field manager, the field compression manager, the maintenance manager, whoever it was, right? Getting in front of them and just saying, hey, this is what I do. I don't like hey, well, let me show you. That's not the way I like to do business. I like to, hey, my name is Rich. This is what we do. This is how we do business. And this is what I like to do for you. Who's doing it for you now, right? Oh, that's so-and-so. We're happy with it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, man. This is what we do. Take a look at our website and, give me a call if you ever need anything, right? Okay, sure. I don't pressure. If you don't want me there, I don't want to be there, right? No is the best answer in the world. I know you've heard that before. No is the best answer in the world because I can go to the next store and I don't have to waste trying to, it's like dating.
Wasting time. I think that you can end up wasting time on the wrong people. Because I've been kind of evaluating like my own processes recently. I'm like, how long do I spend on the wrong people? Because it's like
0.
It's like you got to follow up, and sometimes it's not the right time. But it's like, are you building the relationship, or are you just knocking on the door that's never going to answer?
Yeah. My wife, she says, it's like dating, Rich. Stop knocking on the door if they're not answering.
Yeah.
My wife is, beautiful lady. I love her, and she's just great. But that's the way she's like. Don't knock on the door if they're not going to answer.
Do you have any kind of rule? Like, do you give it 3 or 4 times, or?
Honestly, I go by and I talk to them, and if they're slightly interested, great. If not, what I'll do is I'll leave them some stickers and then I'll leave them some little trinkets or whatever it is that I make, and it's got my logo on there. It's got my email on there or whatever it is. Like, I got a call from Colorado one time, and it says, "Is this Rich Rendon?" I said, "Yes, it is." He goes, "I've got a note here that says to call you for cooler cleaning." I said, "Oh, okay." And I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. That's my little handout." So I have a to-do list that I give away, and I put them on their desk if they're not there. And hey, call Rich for cooler cleaning. That's the number one thing on it.
Oh, okay.
And then they got like 10 other slots. They can write whatever they want, right? And then it has our business information on there.
That's
it worked.
neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like if you're not going to see them, you might just drop in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being in their heads, right? Rent free, basically trying to be there for them,
Mm-hmm.
but also available to them, right?
Yeah.
And be honest with them. If you can't do it, don't do it. Don't try to do it if you can't make it happen and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's what I do. And then hard hat stickers. Like I was telling you earlier, you know, people walk in and some of my competitors will call me and go, "Dude, I saw your hard hat sticker today at Energy Transfer. Or I saw it at Phillips 66. I'm like, "Yeah.
That's
Do you like
cool.
it?" He goes, "Yeah. Can you send me some?" You know, it's just, you know, us guys in the gas and oil industry, we love stuff, right? We love logos and
Yeah.
we love things like that. I mean, you see the old logos, like the old Texaco logos and all the old signs and all the stuff. Man, I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I really started falling in love with the gas and oil industry. It was the history. I love, like, if you ever see me on the weekend in my old car or my old truck, I'll dress like I'm in the 30s. I'll have a little old hat. I might have some garage deals on. And
Yeah.
I go to car shows.
Okay.
And you kind of look,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you're in the 30s. But I got a 1940 panel truck, or I got a 1931, or I got an old motorcycle or something like that. And it just, you know, it's kind of like cosplay, I guess, you know, for hot rodders, you know what I
A
mean?
little bit, yeah.
So if you go to, like, the Race of Gentlemen, they're having this weekend in New Jersey. They're racing on the beach with old cars, 1930s, you know, old motorcycles and stuff like that. And it's, if you get in the gas and oil industry, a lot of the people, ex-military, there are a bunch of, what do you call them? Like motorcyclists and hot rodders, and, you know, and so you identify with those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's kind of a family type thing. You go to car shows and you see your customers, or you go to, you know, a bike night or something, and you see some of your customers, and that's what I love. I love the knowing people. I know people, and it's crazy because I never thought this. Doing this type of work has taken me from cleaning coolers in New York, right? Who thinks there's coolers in New York?
Right.
Heat exchangers for the gas and oil industry, but there's pipelines everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Underground pipelines. You got intrastate, interstate. You got all kinds of, you know, field units. You have everything. So I started getting phone calls when I started my business in 2013, and I started doing cooler cleaning and heat exchanger cleaning in Pennsylvania and New York, and then the landfill methane plants started calling in and saying, "Hey, can you clean this? Can you clean that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that." Florida, California, one of the hardest places to clean anything. Nevada, Reno, Washington. I've done all kinds of places. My favorite place cleaning coolers was on the Big Island.
Nice.
Hey, Rich. Like, those guys were so cool. Some of the nicest guys that worked there. But so it was right after the volcano,
Okay.
right? And so, if you can look at it, it's called Puna, which is Ormat Technologies, and there's this electric plant. So we started getting into electricity, and so there's this a plant that's sitting up there that runs the Big Island. So it's sitting up there, and the lava went around it. It was the coolest thing. It was all black all the way around it, right? They're like, "Hey, we need you to come show us how to clean these coolers, and we're going to buy your soap and all this stuff." I said, "Okay." So I get out there, and we start to clean, but I get out there, and I have to drive over old black lava
Wow.
that just like 2 or 3 months, 6 months ago was red hot lava.
Dang.
And I was like, this is scary.
Yeah.
Because the roads
For sure.
are all blocked off, and you know,
Mhm.
you can see where the lava went and just destroyed houses and landmarks and everything else. But I go in there and there's these steam pipes where the lava's still running underneath. And there's steam pipes. And I'm driving out there and I get there and I start talking to Dan and all those guys out there or Ron, I'm sorry. And I'm sitting there on top of this cooler on the big island of Hawaii. And I'm sitting there going, I'm cleaning coolers in Hawaii. How cool is this?
That is cool.
And it's paid.
Yeah.
So I went down there for 3 days and trained them how to do it, but they gave me like 7 days. So I ended up just hanging out in Hawaii, rented a motorcycle and rode around.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was just one of the most beautiful things. But the opportunities that it's given me just from the gas and oil industry, because a lot of times it correlates to other things in our life. Heat exchangers are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to UniFirst, they have heat exchangers. That's how they clean their stuff. They got hot water and cold water. So heat exchangers are everywhere. Whether it's a cooler, a fin fan cooler, or if it's a plate and frame, tube and shell, whatever the heat exchanger is, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there's opportunity everywhere if you really just open to doing it, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you put in a lot of years of learning that, of kind of like honing your craft and knowing how to take care of people, learning the industry. And so now with the product that you now have, has that been a game changer for you? Is it just kind of refining like what you've built and continuing to grow?
It really has. So when you're out in the gas and oil industry, you're cleaning compressor stations, you're dealing with oil from the motor, the engine's leaking or the coolant leaking, or they have a blowout or a valve or something happen. Oil gets everywhere. You got to clean it. So everybody was using just regular degreasers. Degreasers you can find everywhere. You can find them from Walmart to, I can't even think, Home Depot or whatever it is. You can actually go to a grocery store and find a degreaser, right? It's just whether it's concentrate or watered down.
Okay.
So what we were having problems with is, everybody's like, hey, we can't get that oil in the ground. We got to clean that up. That can't. And they're like, what do? We have to dig it up, haul it off, or, whatever other strategies they use. So we found product to make and working with the lab, and we came up with R3 mediate, which was remediate. That's what I called it. And it works perfect. It just has a 3 instead of an E on remediate.
Okay.
Right. And then we ended up changing the name to R3 Original, and now people just call it R3. But it's a micro encapsulation product. It turns oil into sand. Literally micro encapsulates the actual hydrocarbon cell around a sand. Sodium silicate bond becomes sand, becomes inert, non-toxic, non-hazardous. So you don't have to dig it up and haul it off anymore, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Where you can actually use this product, spray it on, till it in on the ground, and it's about half the price.
Wow.
Right? And less headaches. You don't have to keep up with all the other, crazy paperwork of, taking it to landfills and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then while doing that, I was actually working on a compressor station. I sprayed it on some metal and actual skid. And what amazed me was it hardened up and it grabbed that sand or that oil and just made it inert, non-toxic, non-hazardous. And I was like, dude, this is not oil anymore. And I was just sitting there playing with it and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. This is awesome. So we ended up pushing that product out, and now we sell it to all the majors have used it.
Did it take a while to make people believers out of that? Was it a little bit of a process to be able to show, not just tell? Because that's seems like it's pretty cutting edge.
They still don't believe it. I'm always doing videos. I don't know if you've seen some of the latest ones.
I mean, I've definitely been keeping up with that. And it looks like you're kind of like you're spraying it onto the spill, and then is it just a process? Like it keeps forming into sand, and
it just grabs those hydrocarbons, and literally it's like a microscopic snow globe. You know how you see everything in a snow globe? and you shake it and everything else. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this is solid and it's not moving anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's in there. We've done the stress tests on it, and it's 100+ years. So not going to roll over it. You're not going to add water and it's going to leach out or anything like
Okay.
that. So it is permanent. It's a permanent resolution to any type of spill. You can clean anything, whether it's bacon grease to crude oil.
Okay.
I mean, anything. Like if it's a hydrocarbon, if it's a chemical that has hydrocarbons in it, it'll clean it. If it's bacon grease, if it's any type of hydrocarbon, even acid, it'll neutralize acid. I mean, there's so many different things that it works on. But hydrocarbons is the one we concentrate on right now, right? So we kind of gone outside the gas and oil industry. It's some people are using it to clean kitchen equipment and using to clean emulsion on TexDot. They love it. They spray it and they go down the road and they're like, dude, it's just like flakes coming off our vid. And by the time we get to the shop, it's clean and we just power wash whatever's left on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and stuff that's been there for years, like 5, 6, 10 years, old oil that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
We can spray it, let it sit, and it'll start coming off. And all of a sudden, like we had one guy, it was in Dallas area or this area, and he's like, man, we're gonna have to replace the insulation, and it's gonna cost us, $20,000. I said, okay. He goes, I want to try your product on it. So I went in there, 9:30. I left at 1:30, and it was clean. They didn't have to replace anything, and it was day rate price. And they're like, wow. But they still, it's a process because, degreasers are cheap. You can go, hey, there you go, and you can put a bunch of it on it. But the problem with the degreaser, if you think about it, is it's kicking the can down the road, right? You're knocking it off from there. You're on the ground. Now you got secondary contamination.
Okay.
Okay? So now you got a toxic waste. Basically what it is. If I spray that oil right there, it's going to turn to sand. It's going to fall to the ground. It's inert, non-toxic, non-hazardous, non-flammable. It's a fire retardant. It's a rust inhibitor, and it's a cleaner.
Has anyone ever challenged you on that? Like afterwards, like looking at it to be sure, like wondering if it was going to change back?
Yes. We've actually, they've actually sent it to the lab and tests.
Okay.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, we've got all that.
It's not just to take your word for it.
No, it's not. It's not. We have to make sure that is tested and everything else when they want it tested.
That's awesome.
If it's reportable or non-reportable, whatever it is, it's up to the customer to handle that part. But yes, they do test it, and it does come back under the parts per million that they need and what they're trying to achieve on that location. So pump jacks, well heads, compressor stations, plants, whatever it is. But yeah, but the thing is, it's kind of like this. So there's a preacher, and he goes to the new church, and he's like, hey, we start and tell him he's a new preacher, and then they start singing. When they turn to the right and they start singing to the wall, and then they finish singing, they start talking to the preacher, and then they're like, okay, that was weird. At the end, they start singing again. Boom, they turn to the right, and then they finish singing, and they turn back to the preacher, and the preacher's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why do y'all turn to that wall? Not one person in that church had an answer, except for a little 90-year-old man in the back, and he raises his hand. He goes, I know why. He goes, why? He goes, because the projector used to shoot on that wall over there, and so we had to read the letters off that wall. It's kind of like that. You do things, and it continues to do the same. So new technology sometimes is like,
yeah,
scary.
Sure.
We don't want to get in trouble, which I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get in trouble. You want to make sure it's a proven method.
Yeah, because I haven't ever heard of anything like this.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of people doing things that are similar with the?
Yeah, there is. There's other similar products out there, but they are probably like twice as expensive. Some of them are like 2-step programs and stuff like that. But yeah, there is just they're I don't want to say watered down, but they're not as concentrate. So I'm always trying to perfect it. I'm always trying to make it better, and I'm always trying to change a little bit of this and that to I want it to be more flaky. I want it to grab more hydrocarbons. I want it to use less, so it's less expensive. I'm always working on stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a out there in front of everybody, I think we're pretty happy with the customers that we've had. I mean, like I said, we've all the majors have used our product on different locations, compressor stations. Even like I said, I was talking to a electric company today working on their transformers. They have blowouts on the transformers, and it gets all over the pole, gets all over the vegetation, it gets all over the ground. I just had another deal with the fire department, so it dries out blood. It microencapsulates the coolant that spills from the wrecks,
Okay.
and all the stuff like that. And so when you use that on a highway, let's say the highway is a cured asphalt, so it won't hurt anything hydrocarbon that's been cured. But if it's still like an emulsion or something like that, or oil, or I mean, I have some time lapse where you have bottles and I spray them down, and you can just see it dry, right? So what I tell people when the pushback, I always say it makes a grown man giggle. And I'll send you the video later, but it makes grown men giggle. It really does, because they're swinging over here and they're saying, no, 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 this is no way. Can't happen. This is not right. And when they see it work, you hear them go, ha, ha, oh. And they say, oh, that does work. So I tell everybody, we should have called it oh, because that's what everybody says after.
Oh.
Yeah. They're like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
that does
it
work.
does. It seems a little magical.
Yeah, it does. Somebody called it, oh, you're the guy with the magic juice.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
There you go.
there's a name for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, we call it R3, original R3OG, and it's amazing product. But that's just one of our products. I mean, we have stuff for scale. We have stuff for cooler cleaning, internal flushes, aiming systems, dehy units. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that, right? I think the coolest stuff that we have is stickers and caps. That's my deal. So I love, being in front of people and customers and talking to them, and, not, hey, look in their room and see what's on their wall and let's talk about that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Those old strategies. No, let's find out what's really going on with the guys. Let's talk to them. Hey, how's your family? What's going on? What's really happening? Hey, you all right?
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed you've been kind of quiet lately, or stuff like that. I mean, I try to reach out to everybody. I've got really good friends that work in gas plants and stuff like that, and they have their own businesses, right? They got Corey. I love Corey. He just started doing my caps and stuff, and Jose, he does my other caps when I do embroidery. Corey does leather, and they glow in the dark.
Wow.
Yeah, glow in the dark caps with your logo. Really cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I'll have to send you one of those too. But yeah, so when they start businesses, and I have another guy that works for I won't say the company, but he works for another gas plant company, and he made if you look over there, those little Coke bottle openers, right? He 3D prints them, and then I have another guy that does metal, right? So I love helping them.
Yeah.
Because they helped me when I was growing in the business, in those relationships. And then I think one of my most favorite people, and I don't want to sound weird here, but is a guy named Mark. He has helped me. He was back in the day, he was with like Chevron, and we did a big job for him. We just became friends, just really good friends. He went to other places and stuff. But what I loved about him, and still love about him, is he's so helpful. And that's what I like about the gas and oil industry. If you ask somebody, hey, Breezy, how do I do this? What do I do? Hey, Rich, look, just relax. Come in here. We'll do this. We'll have a conversation. Do this. Da, 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 da. You help me. That's exactly the way he is. Just one of those guys that he will teach you anything you want to know that he knows about the gas plant. And that's what I love about the gas and oil industry, is the knowledge that people share for their mechanics, and they share this, and this is how this works. This is what this does. This is the way the dehy works, and it's going through this and that, and this is the way the aiming system works. That's what I love about people in the gas and oil industry. But again, the main thing is the relationship with people. right? So at the end of the day, hopefully, me and you, we go on about our business, and 10 years, you see me one day, and you're like, "Hey, Rich, what's going on?" You still remember me,
Right.
right? That's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Is I might not be doing business with you, and you might have moved on with something else, or I might have moved on with something else, but that relationship, that's what I love,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the best part of the gas and oil industry, I think.
Yeah,
Is there's
absolutely.
so many people, like my buddy here that does the AI stuff, XAI. He started making stuff for me, and he works on the rigs, right? He's 12 on, 14 on, however they do it, but he works on the rigs. And then one day I went to go see him, and I was in East Texas, and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on? Let's have lunch and dinner, whatever." Met with him, and I said, "Man," I said, I've been trying to find somebody that can show these video and kind of break down the process of what this does." He goes, "I can do it." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Send me a picture. Send me what you want. Just write it down." I left at 12 o'clock. I was on the road. I was probably almost to Dallas from East Texas. And he goes, "Rich, check your text message." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "I sent you the video." And he had these Sasquatches looking at the oil spills. And I'm like, "Dude, you should start a business." I said, because I went and asked people to do that for me. You know what they were trying to charge me? $5,000, $6,000, $10,000.
Wow.
And he goes, "Oh, I can do it for like $300." They're professional looking. They're great. They whatever you wanted to say and stuff like that. And now it's like, you need to start a business, because that's the, you have your work ethic that you do over here with your rigs. Because man, God bless anybody who works on rigs, because I could never do that. I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
that right now. First of all, I'm too short, but
I think, yeah, that would be a disadvantage.
but the fact that you can do something outside of that will let you grow,
Mm-hmm.
in something else, right? And that's what I love about helping people and watching people grow their stuff. Hey, I'm a mechanic, but I do this on the side, and you do it well, and now you're got a business and you're making cool stuff. And so, kind of the way I went into the business. I mean, it's I had a perfection problem. I don't have OCD at all, but I had a perfection problem. I wanted to take care of the customer, and I wanted not get my butt chewed out, because I've had those conversations where, "Dude, you," and I'm like, "Okay, I mean, I don't have a butt already, and I really didn't have one after that." You know what I mean? I got to go. But I didn't want that. I didn't want my customer mad at me. You know, I don't want anybody mad at me. But if you take care of them, and that's why I was telling my customer, my the people I would work for, it's like, "Dude, let's take care of them, make them happy, right? Give them a break on this one. You can charge them on the next one, but give them a break on this one, because they need it. They help." And nobody ever wanted to do that. It was all about, we got to make, and I understand that we got to pay the
Right.
bills,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to have that human element of taking care of people,
Yeah,
whatever it
absolutely.
is. So
Yeah.
that's my philosophy. Take care of people.
Yeah, so I mean, you've developed your philosophy, your business, your brand, your product, and where you're at right now with R3OG. Like, what's your vision for the future? What are you trying to accomplish now?
Well, I thought I was there a couple years ago, right? We sold the business, and unfortunately, it was not very ethical on the part of the company that bought us, so we had to start over. So when we start over, our goal is really just to put this in everybody's cabinet, whether it's in your garage, whether it's bacon grease, whether it's in a restaurant, or it's in the gas and oil industry, and they use it because you can use it in conjunction with a degreaser. I need to knock that stuff off. Okay, now it's on the ground. Let me remediate it, right? So you can use it in conjunction with a degreaser or something like that. But I just want to show people how easy it is. Give them the products, the chemicals. Like, I have a chemical called Whoop-Ass, which is open a can of Whoop-Ass and remove the scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And cooler cleaner and engine flush and stuff like that. But I want to put those out there where people know that they're buying a quality product that works. That's my goal. We have distributors. Matter of fact, we just did a deal that I was talking to you the other day about last night. We came to an agreement with a company that's going to be pushing it to all of their customers now, which is a major company, gas and oil company. Uh, we want to kind of revolutionize the way you clean, because I always put on there changing the way you clean.
Nice.
Changing the way you clean. A ethical um, remediation product that is non-toxic, non-hazardous, that's going to take care of all your needs. The biggest need is your mental, right? Because you're like, what are we going to do? Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? How that's people start panicking. You go through environmental. It takes 6 months to come up with a solution, and by that time, that stuff is just leaching in the ground and just become a toxic nightmare, right? Now it's double, triple, quadruple the price to clean it up, dig it up, and haul it off. Where you can do this and spray it down right now before it leaches out anymore. You have minimized the risk now. And then you can come up with your dig and haul or whatever. You can use it in conjunction with anything.
Sure.
It just helps to, with the fines. You see tanks with oil all over them. And then, people come by and they get fined for that.
Oh, yeah.
Just spray it down. Let it sit. Let it dry.
You don't have to
It'll
do
fly
anything
off.
else.
No. It
Nice.
literally turns to dirt. You could go over there and just swipe it off and it'll fall off, or you can power wash it off. It's like power washing dirt where you're not chasing oil.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the best things but we basically, to answer your question, long ways, is we want to be accessible to everybody. I want the person cleaning the garage, because we did a commercial on Motor Trend TV, which is a Motorhead Garage, and it was called "You're Not Gonna." The actual part of the show was "You're Not Gonna Believe This," right? And that was the actual part of the show. So you can find that online. It's under the old Remediate, but yeah, we pushed that out there, and we've got a lot of phone calls and a lot of people using it. Got a phone call right before we walked in here and says, "Hey, we heard that you have some kind of miracle degreaser." And I'm like, it's not really a degreaser. It's micro encapsulation of hydrocarbons. I hate saying that because,
right.
but I just want to call it a degreaser, right? But it's not a degreaser.
Right.
But it does degrease.
Could you call it like an alternative to a degreaser? Because that is a little bit of a long, 2-second.
Microencapsulation of hydrocarbons. Yeah.
and trying to get it out, because then it's like, it does what?
Yeah.
It makes it seem like it's something else.
Yeah, it does. Well, I actually have the website that says called degrease, D-GR3. I'm trying to spell degrease now. Yeah, 3ASE, degrease. So we were trying to push it like that, like it's degreasing, but it's not
Got
a
it.
degreaser.
Sure.
Wordplay is so horrible. So you
It can be when you're having to spell it.
Yes, you can, especially if you're dyslexic, right?
Oh yeah, that can get you in a bind real quick.
But no, R3 is basically what everybody calls it, honestly. R3, but it's the process, and it's an approved method by the EPA since 2004. So the microencapsulation is not something that just popped up
Got it.
in 2019 when we started, making it. It's been around. Microencapsulation has actually been around since the 30s, right? So the process is there. It's approved method, like I said, by EPA. Like dig and haul's approved method. Microencapsulation's approved method by the EPA. The U.S. Forest Service just used it or allowed it to be used on their locations. So we've been approved by the U.S. Forest Service. I mean, as far as using it, environmental. Once they actually see it work.
Yeah.
And then it gets rid of the odors. That's the best thing in the world. Any odor, acid, poop, animal feces, any odor, landfills, oil, H2S. It'll grab all of that and encapsulate it, and it's gone. The smell's gone. Uh-huh. That's one of the best things that I've seen it do, is encapsulate the smell.
Sure.
So,
Well,
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, it sounds like it's an awesome product, and I mean, you're very established and in the way that you approach everything and just wanting to be helpful and serve your customers. And it sounds like there's a lot of growth ahead of you.
I'm hoping so.
I
Yes.
think so. And I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing a little bit of your journey and talking about your product.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity, and you've been a great to to learn from also because I came in here nervous, man. I lost my hair.
Yeah.
I had hair when I first came in.
And you did great. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Breezy.
You bet. And thank you everyone for watching Power of the Permian. We'll see you next time.